Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Pacers Daily. I'm your host, Hery Acosta. Let's talk about this game of the year candidate between the Pacers and the Kings. And by game of the year, I mean snooze fest of the year. Um, Two worst teams in the league, both bottom of their respective conferences. Total of 30 and 99. Great record. Um, Sounds like the Chicago White Sox record a couple years ago. Now, White Sox fans don't bash me in the comments, but you know what I mean. And overall, this is going to be one of those games where it actually has more to it than some other games. Now, before I get into that, let's just talk about some injury concerns. Pacers are going to be without McConnell, Siakam, and Zubac for this game. Jarris Walker and Andrew Nemhard are game time decisions. The Kings, on the other hand, have the same three that are going to be out for the rest of the season: DeAndre Hunter, Zach LaVine, and Sabonis. Keegan Murray and Dylan Cardwell are also out for this game. I did mention that last episode. Their lineup hasn't changed since then. Some players to look at the moment. Their current leading scorer is DeMar DeRozan, averaging 18 points per game. LaVine is averaging more, but he is out. Westbrook's averaging 15, 6.5, and 5.4. So not bad. Obviously, the numbers keep going down. Malik Monk is averaging 12.7, and Reynolds averaging 10.9 and 7.2 rebounds. Achua, was most likely going to start, is averaging 8.7. So the Kings are one of these worst scoring teams in the league. They have nobody averaging over 20. They're actually second to last in points per game. They're tied for 14th in pace, so they are a little faster than we are. They are a better shooting team, but they are the lowest three-point shooting team in the league, which makes sense. They have a lot of mid-range shooters and a lot of people that drive into the paint. Worst three-point shooting team in the league. One of the worst free throw. They're kind of like mid-tier in free throws. We're one of the worst free throw teams. A little bit lower than us in rebounds and assists. So they're genuinely probably the worst team in the league again compared to us. But they're at home and we're 5-27 on the road. So that might actually help. We'll say help them, but it might actually help us if we lose because then we'd be actually set for the number one pick by ourselves. Obviously, it's a lottery, but at least it'd give us higher odds. As long as we get that top four, we're good. But this is gonna be a fun game to watch. I want to watch some of our younger guys get more minutes and just see what Micah Potter can continue to do. Micah Potter has been popping off recently, and I want to see him continue to dominate. He's averaging almost 10 points a game this year. Same with J Huff. I want to see J Huff step up. So far, J Huff, if I'm not mistaken, has played every single game so far. He's the only player on the roster. Jarris Walker missed one due to illness earlier sometime this year. And then the third most games for us has been Siakam with 55, but he has missed 9 games now. And then Shepard's played 53, and Nemhard's played 50. So we haven't had a lot of players actually play over 50 games. Five. Five players on this roster have played over 50 games. Obviously, if we had Micah Potter or earlier in the year, he would probably already be at 50 because he hasn't missed a game since he joined. A lot of other players have been, getting more minutes. Peter, he hasn't usually had any injury concerns so far. He's just been down in G League. Kobe Brown has played a good amount of games so far. For us, he's played every single game he's suited up for. So it is good to see that, at least from our guys that aren't usually stars. And then the implications I want to talk about, it's simple. We lose this game, we're currently at the highest odds of getting the number one pick. We win this game, we fall at second. Well, we stay at second because right now we are at second. But the Jazz winning last night and the Wizards winning every now and then, that's going to continue to actually, help us. And, that's kind of what we need. We want other teams around us to win. Overall, we are the second worst team. Wizards have one more win than we do. Brooklyn Nets have two more wins than we do, but the Jazz have now reached 20 wins. So they're pretty much out of that top four range for at least the moment. That could always change, but I highly doubt it. Fast breaks, buzzer beaters, and block parties are back, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. Playing an Underdog is easy. Just choose whether your favorite player is going to go higher or lower on stats like points, rebounds, steals, or more. Get your picks right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. Now, what do we want to pick today? We're going to talk about Wembanyama and Jason Tatum. They play together. Um, Wembanyama, well, against each other, but Wembanyama, 23.5 points. I'm going to go higher. I mean, we have seen what the ridiculous stat lines he's been putting up recently, even against the Rockets when it didn't even look like it was that crazy of a game. 4 blocks, over 20 points, 8 rebounds, few assists, couple steals. He can do everything on the court, but he's going to want to just continue to dominate. Now, Jason Tatum, that's a tough one because he's been playing good since he came back. It was only his third game back, and it's against Wembanyama. I am gonna go lower than 19.5. Now that is kind of a shot in the dark, just because this is a guy that's averaged 30 before, but he's not gonna average 30 this year. I mean, he's coming back from an Achilles injury and probably, in my opinion, coming back early. But they have more playoff implications than we do. But I'm gonna go lower for him. But as always, use promo code BasketballFan to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. Just put in $5, play them, get 75 back. Underdog, make picks, win money.
Must be 18 plus. 19 plus in Alabama, Nebraska. 19 plus in Colorado for some games. 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia. And present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/play and get terms DFSTML for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 helpline at 1-878 or text from 467-369.
Welcome back. Now, I used to, before we generally just got into the season after the trade deadline, I used to just talk a lot about different players we can go for. But what's stopping us from just, grabbing a Ben Simmons for the rest of the season, just to see if he can even play basketball anymore? I talked a lot about him over the off season and then kind of like during the season when we first really started getting injured. But obviously he hasn't been in the league since last season, and this is a former number one pick who's a 3-time All-Star, former All-NBA, All-Defensive Team guy. He's a guy that was putting up ridiculous triple doubles, ridiculous stat lines, but he just wasn't a good shooter, and he kind of lacks any sort of confidence on the basketball court. But that happens to a lot of people. I mean, you can't really put too much blame on it. Now, this would have been his 10th season, but he's completely missing it. So he's only played 9 in the league. I still think there's somewhat of a basketball player left in him. He showed some glimpses in Brooklyn when he was healthy. Showed a few glimpses in LA, but bring him to Indiana for a bit. Just have him play. I mean, nothing's really stopping us now. I don't know if he's still in that mindset that he deserves a big contract. He absolutely does not. So either a vet minimum or even a 10-day. Just we have a few injuries. We could use some help, and then I genuinely just kind of want to see what he still has in the tank, whether it's even watchable or whether he's just on the court stinking it up. Either way, it's fine. I just want to see what Ben Simmons can do. And last but not least, we go back home on the 12th against Phoenix. I'm actually gonna try to go to that game just to see, because I've only been to one actual physical game this year, and it was the Bucks game. I've just been busy. I haven't been able to really catch any, but I mean, I've been watching every single one on TV, no matter what I'm doing. But I'm gonna see if I can go to this one. Just grab some more. Well, I've been to a lot of Pacer games, but this year just has been different because it's just been kind of unwatchable, and spending all that money just to go and watch our team lose isn't really the best. But as always, I'm your host, Hery Acosta. This is Pacers Daily. Boom, baby, and go, sir.